Now let's talk about the fight over abortion in state courts. Last week, a Florida appeals court told a 16-year-old girl that she was not mature enough to get an abortion, despite her protests that she wasn't ready to have a baby. Maturity is a legal finding here under Florida law, which requires that minors get consent from their parents before obtaining an abortion. The problem here, though, court documents describe her as, quote, parentless, and she was asking the court for a waiver of that parental consent requirement. Meantime, a federal judge in North Carolina reinstated the state's abortion ban after 20 weeks of pregnancy. He had pressed pause on that law back in 2019, but the Supreme Court's decision, he said, in Dobbs earlier this year, meant there was no legal foundation for that pause button anymore. And staying in the South, Kentucky Supreme Court on Thursday refused to press pause on the state's near total ban on abortion while they consider challenges to the law from abortion rights groups. The court will hear arguments on the challenges to the law on November 15th. That's after Election Day, when, fun fact, Kentuckians will be voting on a constitutional amendment involving abortion. And finally, we told you last week about the DOJ suing Idaho over its abortion law. DOJ says that the near total ban on abortion violates federal law, specifically the Emergency Medical Treatment and Labor Act. That's a law that guarantees you access to emergency health care regardless of your ability to pay. Now, last week, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and 19 other states filed an amicus brief siding with the Department of Justice. The brief argues that emergency abortion care is necessary to avoid serious harmful outcomes, including death. The hearing is set for tomorrow. So why are other states getting involved in Idaho's business? Well, an amicus brief allows them to. So, WTF is an amicus brief. Amicus is short for amicus curiae, which is Latin for friend of the court. Essentially, if you're not party to a case, but you have a strong interest in the outcome, you can file a brief with the court explaining that interest and your position. It happens all the time. Often states will band together on one side of a case or another. For example, Idaho's neighbors, Washington and Oregon, who signed on to this brief, also joined another friend of the court brief saying that they were concerned that Idaho's law would force pregnant people in Idaho who were experiencing emergencies to go to their hospitals out of state and strain the system.